I'd like to demonstrate a breathing drill, and this breathing drill is called silent breathing. I like to give this drill to people who are trying to reconnect with developing better breathing habits and being able to find and connect more with the motion here in this cylinder of our abdomen. So a lot of times what I see a big pattern is an overdominance of just taking the breath in with the neck muscles, the upper traps. So that's a pretty common, unfortunately, a common breathing pattern that I see, and that really is a stress breath. In fact, it's activating this action here is really a lot of work to the muscles. So usually these muscles in the neck are very hard and dense and thick and get really tense and feel leathery. And this can interfere with the flow out into the arms, and it can interfere with, of course, tension in the neck, but it can also interfere with how the core functions. So we want to be able to get the motion lower. And so this pattern, a lot of times when I have people emphasize their breathing, what I see is just this bigger because they're trying to make their breath happen. And so what I really like about this one is we're giving the brain, what I always like to say is we're giving the brain a different task away from breathing and having the brain pay attention to sound. So when we plug our ears, what happens is it really amplifies what is going on inside of the head. And so what we want to be able to do is when we hear our breathing, do however you need to breathe, and this is through the nose, what you want to do is change how you're breathing so you do not hear your inhale or your exhale. And typically what I see is the up down from here goes away and there's more expansion and contraction here in this abdominal canister or in this abdominal thorax cylinder, in and out and in. And this is ideally what we would prefer. This comes in when we're actually running and being active and dynamic. This should not be happening when we're doing a quiet, doing computer work. We're signaling that the system is under stress and needs to mobilize. And so there's a whole cascade of physiology that happens when we're doing this breath. And so being able to tap into the less is really important. I'm going to demonstrate this. You're not going to see much, but I did want to give an explanation of how you're doing it. What I usually have people do, because people get tired of holding their hands up, practice this for a minute or 2 minutes, then let your hands come down and see if you can still keep that breath pace where you're finding that silent, as if you were able to hear inside your head. So we'll play with that here for just a second. So I'm not going to keep going with that because you're not really seeing much. And I don't know if you could see, but one of the things that I notice with myself is I'm able to find more of the back wall and the sides of my abdominal and thoracic cylinder. And I notice that a lot with people. So I have people practice and I put my hands, and this is something that you may even want to do when you are practicing, when you take your hands away, to maybe put your hands on your sides or this way, whatever's comfortable for you, so you can kind of tap into that movement and recognize that finding that silent, you need it to go less. you needed to go slower and you were just really kind of dispersing that air in, this is a great way to tap into building appropriate intra-abdominal pressure. It's really a way to find this 360 movement. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. And so I hope you have fun. Enjoy.